Hi, everybody. I'm Amy Mosco, co-founder of Intentional Healing Systems and creator of the Divine Purpose Alignment Technique. This is session 3. Welcome to session 3. If you have not yet watched sessions 1 and 2, I recommend that you do that because you're not going to know what I'm talking about in this session. I'm not going to rehash too much. I'll recap a little bit, but I'm not going to rehash all of the deep explanations about the foundations of this system and this series of activations. But I will tell you the first 4 sessions in this series of 18 will be recorded. And then starting with session number 5, there'll be live sessions. The activations will be a little more intense, and those really need to be done live. But this is an ongoing series that I'm offering. All right, so just like session 1 and 2, I'm going to share to the screen the supporting materials that you can request. If you'd like a copy of the PDF that I'm going to share to the screen, you can email me at Amy, AIMEE, at ihsunity.com and just request session 3 PDF, and I will email it to you. Okay, otherwise you can just like with the other sessions, you can screenshot from the screen the information that you feel is important and that you want to keep. I'll try to leave everything up there long enough so you can screenshot it. Okay, here we go. Ready? Bear with me a moment here while I access these thumbnails. Okay. Hold. Hold, please. Okay, here we go. All right, session 3. Now, session 3 is about connecting with universal wisdom. Okay, session 1 was all about creating a sacred workspace or managing your sacred workspace. Session 2 was about owning your divine creatorship to actually perform and create energy patterns in that sacred workspace. And this session is about connecting with divine wisdom, your own and the wisdom that sits beyond the parameters of your energy field. Okay. You have seen this document from me before if you watched the other 2 videos, but here's a recap. This tells you a little bit about me and about what the work is for and what it is not for. Okay, and another article, Exalting Your Wisdom. This is from my Swag for the Soul column in Coachella Valley Weekly, and it just gives you some supporting information for this activation. Okay, maybe some things to think about. So either screenshot it or go look for the article on CoachellaValleyWeekly.com. There's page 1, page 2. Okay, so revelation of divine wisdom. You wouldn't have seen this in either of the other 2 videos. I'm going to come back to this just like I did with the Oath to Power Oath to Love and Testimony of Power. I'm going to come back to this and I'm going to share it with you when we do the activation. Okay, but if you want to screenshot it so you have the verbiage, now's the time. Okay, so divine wisdom gates. So this is really interesting. I got this piece of information when I was deep into channeling Archangel Metatron and the contents of the systems that I've curated. I was told that each lesson that we experience as an embodied soul, we basically collect information from different sources. So there are 7 gates that we need to open to access information that allows us to most thoroughly master any particular soul lesson that we're working on. So we don't always realize this, and a lot of times we open these gates by accident, and it's part of our life to connect with these things. But this information, this document that I'm sharing with you tells you what each of those gates are and how to summon the information that you need if you have pieces that are missing. Elements of wisdom that are missing from the divine lessons that you've been studying as a spiritual and embodied being in this life. Okay, so the first one, that first gate, you open that gate, you get the keys from minerals. Okay, and minerals are a big part of our lives. I mean, aside from collecting crystals, which probably many of you who are watching this video do like I do. I'm very attracted to crystals. In fact, when I was a child, I used to pick up rocks and stick them in my pocket, and at the end of the day, my pockets would be filled with rocks. So from almost day one, I've been aware of my connection to minerals. But I mean, minerals are found in our food as well, and they help our bodies to perform optimally. So those first set of keys come from the mineral kingdom. The second comes from plants. Okay, plants and minerals hold wisdom and perspectives of consciousness that we don't as human beings. Okay, we have access to all of that stuff beyond the veil when we're in between bodies as soul beings, soul disembodied beings. But when we are embodied, we actually have to rely on collaborative measures to get all of the information we need to satisfy our soul plan and to master our soul lessons. So the third requires keys from the animal kingdom. Okay, and this comes in many different ways. I mean, it can come from actually eating the flesh of animals. It doesn't necessarily have to, though. I mean, you could stand next to an animal and put your hands on them, or just think about them and receive keys and wisdom from the animal's perspective. Okay. Number 4 requires keys from relationships. You think about how much you grow from any of the relationships that you have, from work relationships and casual acquaintance relationships to deep, intimate relationships that you have with partners and family members. Think about how much you gain from that and how much those relationships open you to growth. This is really important, and it also is one of the hardest studies, as we're, hardest information to connect with in our bodies. Number 5 requires keys from divine blueprints. Now, what does that mean? What are divine blueprints? Well, we are created, these bodies and these energy fields were created from higher intelligence. And there are blueprints. I mean, there are actual blueprints for these bodies that we live in. And when you're in between in between lives, and you're without your body in between lives, you are planning out this energy field that you're using to navigate the physical embodiment, right? And that comes from, or that your being comes from the divine blueprints that you generated in advance of actually experiencing this life. Okay, so there are divine blueprints, there are your divine blueprints, and then there are divine blueprints that are just these blueprints that sit in the archives beyond the veil, right? Oftentimes we need to get at information that is not here on this earth plane with us to satisfy our soul lessons here. Okay. Number 6 requires keys from universal law. Okay, we are all bound by universal law. We live here in the universe, and we as embodied souls are bound by universal laws. We don't always abide by these laws, and we're not always aware of them, but it doesn't mean that we're not subject to them. So you can ask to connect with a greater or higher understanding of these universal laws. And when you have that understanding, then you can recognize when you're not in alignment with universal laws. Okay, and that is a growth opportunity. Okay, then we have number 7 requires keys from the master within. Okay, this is you and all of your recorded history and all of your lives and all of your time in between lives. This is the master within. And sometimes what's required of you to master a lesson here in this world is to go within yourself and find those keys, find that divine wisdom that exists within you and pull it forward into this life. Okay, so these divine wisdom gates that you're accessing, like I said, you do it anyway. You do it without even realizing that you're doing it. And sometimes it is very accidental. Well, okay, maybe I take that back. It's maybe not accidental, but you're not aware of it. But with these affirmations and this activation I'm offering to you, in the bottom portion of this document, this allows you to connect with these keys and open these gates very intentionally. Okay. So let me just read these affirmations to you, or invocations, I should call them. Let me read these to you, okay? And just sit back and listen. So for the first gate, with gratitude, I invoke the sacred keys of divine wisdom from the mineral kingdom to assist me in my awakening journey. Second, with gratitude, I invoke the sacred keys of divine wisdom from the plant kingdom to assist me in my awakening journey. Number 3, with gratitude, I invoke the sacred keys of divine wisdom from the animal kingdom to assist me in my awakening journey. Number 4, with gratitude, I invoke the sacred keys of divine wisdom from my relationship records to assist me in my awakening journey. Number 5, with gratitude, I invoke the sacred keys of divine blueprints that honor me now to assist me in my awakening journey. Number 6, with gratitude, I invoke the sacred keys of divine wisdom from the universal law libraries to assist me in my awakening journey. And number 7, with gratitude, I invoke the sacred keys of divine wisdom from within my spirit archives to assist me in my awakening journey. Okay, this is an activation. Just by stating these invocations, you are activating something within you. You are calling for information. You are calling for keys. You are calling to open to information that you may not currently have or you may not have come across as of yet. Okay, you would use these divine wisdom gates when you're trying to figure something out, or you're trying to use your creatorship abilities to create something new, or you just feel like you need to have a higher understanding of something that's going on in your life. Okay, that's when you would use these keys. I use them daily because I always assume, well, I know that I'm here to learn something every single day. And I always assume that there's information outside of myself or through my inner self that I can access to be better today than I was yesterday. So I use these daily, but it's up to you how you want to use them. I want to share some more tools with you, but before we do that, I'd like to point out again this color wheel up here. And these colors represent the 12 core lessons, the 13th being the one in the center, the gold. But the colors that support this process of becoming aware and connecting with divine wisdom are red, that seafoam green, and the color purple. Okay, these support that journey and that higher level of awareness when it comes to the divine wisdom gates. Okay, next. This you've seen before, the 7 layers of self, and we're going to use that when we go through the exercise associated with this session. Okay, and then the affirmations to support the highest divine function of each layer. The divination cards that you can, if you haven't already, you can print this page from the PDF and cut them out and use them as divination cards. They're about the size of business cards. You could even laminate them. I know there's a laminating pouch that's the same size as a business card, so you could actually laminate them, and they'll hold up better if you do. Okay, the explanation of how to use the symbol cards, which I went over in session 1. So let me work through this exercise, or let me just share with you how you would do this exercise. Okay, this is something that's self-study and you're going to do on your own. Again, when you feel like you need to use these keys to either gain awareness or to help you in your creation process or to get unstuck somewhere, this is the exercise you would pull out to use these keys to find your answers. Okay. So just like with the other worksheets that I went over in session 1 and 2, you're going to just sit quietly, really center yourself, bring yourself to a quiet meditative space. Okay, so you can go inward. Focus on your breath. Inhale, fill your lungs completely and then hold. Okay, and then release your breath slowly. And when your lungs are empty, hold again. And then do this a few times to really center yourself. Okay, to shut the outside world out and focus inward. And state the intention: I choose to bring the essence of my inner spirit into my breath. And just like with the other worksheets, as you continue to breathe with focus and intention, visualize that golden energy of your inner spirit filling your lungs as you inhale. Bring it in, let it circulate. Okay, and imagine that this energy is delivered to you from the heart of your inner spirit. Okay, the highest divine expression of your inner spirit is sending energy to you through your lungs as you inhale. And then number 5, focus on your heartbeat. And use your breath to slow your heartbeat so you're completely relaxed. And then see that golden energy of your inner spirit circulating through your bloodstream. Imagine that it's illuminating you from the inside out. And once again, number 8, extend an invitation to your body systems to sync with one another and the rhythm of your inner spirit. I invoke my body systems to sync with the essence of my inner spirit. And then number 9, you're going to reference that revelation of divine wisdom, if it feels right to you, okay? And read it out loud. Hopefully you took a screenshot. If not, here's your opportunity. Okay, and this just like the other ones, the oath and the testimony, it's going to help you remember the sacred divine wisdom that you've collected, okay? And also that you have access to through the collective consciousness, the collective universal libraries. This is going to help you rebuild that belief and reconnect with that wisdom, because it's always right there at your fingertips. Even if you feel like you have to search, it's always right there when you ask for it. And you remember that you have the ability to reveal this divine wisdom. Okay, number 10, command your subconscious mind to reactivate the energy of the words for you each day. Okay, if this feels like something that's important to you, then state the command: I'm reactivating the energy of the revelation of divine wisdom in my energy field each day. Okay, let that be a part of your daily ritual. Let that energy just reactivate. And I would suggest, just like with the testimony and the oath, I would suggest that you take a few moments and read this aloud to yourself so you hear it in your own voice with pure presence, like hang on every word and integrate it in your being. Okay, and then when you state the affirmation, I'm reactivating the energy of the revelation of divine wisdom, it's already part of you. It's already in there. Okay. So then you're going to reference the divine wisdom gates activation, that one I shared with you, and spend some time thinking about how each of these sources of information impact your life. Okay. And then state the invocation, each one of those 7 invocations, one by one, after you have thought about how they impact your life. Okay, and if you've even been aware of them, now it's time to take things to a higher level of awareness. So really think about it. Okay, and then just take a few minutes to unlock the gates with the keys you have and invite those energies of support to be delivered to you. Okay, you've asked for the keys, now open the gates. And circulate the energies that honor you with an affirmation such as this: I'm integrating energies of support that align with only the highest divine expressions of truth. Okay, divine truth, divine wisdom. That's what you want to connect with, not fake news. There's enough of that in the world already. Okay, so that's the self-development exercise for session 3. And then you have next level. Okay, this is the worksheet, the self-evaluation worksheet. And it's much like the other worksheets that I've walked you through. Okay, this time you're just approaching the divine wisdom gates. So you're going to use that DPAT symbol divination card deck if you choose. Okay, you can always just use your intuition if you don't need a card deck. Or you can use anything. You can use any sort of marker. So you're going to review that activation, the Divine Wisdom Gates activation, and then shuffle the cards to discern which gate is most meaningful for you to explore deeply. Okay, and you might do this in the context of wanting to be unstuck from a certain situation or just understand more what's happening in the moment. You would use these cards to identify which one of these gates is going to give you the most information, which gate should you open and explore and ask questions and go deep within to actually get the answers that will help you shift whatever it is that you're looking to shift. Okay, and there's the list right there: minerals, plants, animals, relationships, divine blueprints, and universal law. And a few prompts here, some questions that you can ask yourself. Okay, and then number 6, the same as the other 2 self-development worksheets for session 1 and 2, you're going to identify how many and which layers of yourself support you opening these gates, using these keys. Okay, and which ones hinder you, which ones need fortification. So that's 6. And 7 is, okay, stating those affirmations to lean on your strengths and affirmations to fortify your weaknesses. These are the affirmations. If you don't remember from sessions 1 and 2, these are the affirmations that support the highest divine function of each layer of yourself. Okay, and you can use these layers to support new outcomes and shifts in your energy field. Okay, but you just have to be present and you have to focus your attention and you have to state your intent or affirm your intent. So number 8, take some time to contemplate your connection to these sources of information and what you need from them. And so this is your self-check. Do it every now and again when you feel like you need to. And then you close out the exercise with this affirmation or one similar: I'm integrating energies of support that align with only the highest divine expressions of truth. Okay, and just like I explained in the other sessions, there is a tool. I've created a tool for these 4 sessions. It's one tool for 4 sessions. Okay, it's a crystal encoded laminate. And in the other 2 sessions, you saw the front side of the laminate. This is the back side of the laminate. And it gives you the prompts for invoking the keys to open those gates right here. Okay, and then you have the support encoded into the crystal tool. So if you would like to purchase this, you can get in touch with me by email and I'll give you instructions and I'll send you this tool. Okay, it's not necessary. It's only additional support. Okay, and you've seen this as well, my mini bio. And then these are the same links that I've displayed in the other videos as well. And in the PDF, if you request the PDF, these are hot links so you can go directly to the meditations, the videos, and the information. Okay. All right. So now we're going to do an activation together. Surprise, surprise, right? It's not a surprise if you've seen the other videos. We're following the same format, but I'm going to do an activation with you. So before we get started, if you just take a moment, take a few deep breaths in through your nose, release through your mouth, and use your visualization to call that golden energy from your inner spirit into your being, into your body. Okay, so you become aware of it. It's always there, but so you become aware of it and send it through your energy field, through your lungs, through your bloodstream, through all parts of you, and really connect with that inner spirit. Okay, invite that perspective into you as we do this activation. So I'll share some images to the screen. Again, okay, this is the activation for session 3, Revelation of Divine Wisdom. Okay, you saw this disclosure already, but again, to remind you of what this energy work is for and what it is not for. Okay. All right. So keeping in mind that You are inviting the frequencies, the visible light frequencies associated with these three colors. You're inviting that to interact with you during this activation. Okay, and we're going to start this with the revelation of divine wisdom. So if you would just take a deep breath and listen to my words and integrate the energy that feels right to you. I'm gonna read this to you, okay? Revelation of divine wisdom. I reveal and apply the pure divine wisdom I have collected in my sacred mind. I am a living library of energetic recordings, soul memories, talents, and wisdom. I'm easily able to tap into the recordings stored in any part of my energy field at will or upon command. I am attuned to convey and receive divine wisdom for utilization or for storage with the highest degree of grace and ease. I call in only the highest expressions of my higher wisdom, my most trusted guides and guardian angels of divine source light, to bestow cosmic wisdom upon me when I need assistance from these extensions of myself. When I invoke the energy and assistance of cosmic wisdom, I only receive communications from beings and sources who or that are securely connected with the most true and pure light and pure wisdom of divine source. I agree to remain connected with all of my internal and external senses to the highest degree when reconnecting with wisdom energy I have requested, intentionally with purpose or unintentionally by any means. I see with all the layers of my being from the highest vibrating vantage point the underlying message and soul purpose of any experience, event, or manifestation with the highest possible degree of clarity. I recognize my soul connections by tapping into their purest and most divinely truthful energy signatures. I only impart my innate divine wisdom and associated recordings to beings who align with the most true and pure light of divine source. I choose to invite collaboration with only souls and beings who have agreed by soul contract to serve the most pure and true light of divine source. I choose to utilize my innate divine wisdom to promote and support the purest and most true principles of universal unity. The highest expression of wisdom is born of knowledge that aligns with the pure divine light of truth. I seek and integrate knowledge that reflects the pure divine light of truth. And so it is. Okay, so that's the revelation of divine wisdom. And now let's ask. Let's ask for these sacred keys to be delivered to you. Okay, think about something that's either holding you back, even if you don't know what it is, if you know that you're being held back from something greater or from connecting more purely and truly with your purpose, or really for any purpose that you feel like you might be lacking some cosmic and universal wisdom, have that in the back of your mind as we do this exercise, okay? Invoke it, invite it. With gratitude, I invoke the sacred keys of divine wisdom from the mineral kingdom to assist me in my awakening journey. Okay, and if you would just have a look at that picture on the top left, that's a picture of Max the crystal skull. This came from a visit that I had with Max back in 2012. This is a picture that I took at that event. If you don't know who Max is, there's plenty of information online. You can go look him up, Max the Crystal Skull, and learn a little bit about him. But it was a profound experience for me to connect with Max the Crystal Skull and all of the wisdom that is held within the molecules of this incredible crystal, this divine consciousness that's held within this mineral, this glorious mineral specimen. You don't have to be with Max physically to actually connect with the wisdom that's encoded within his being. It's enough to look at a picture. You don't really even need a picture. But I thought that this was the most appropriate image to share as we ask for these divine and sacred keys to be delivered to us so we can open these gates of wisdom associated with the mineral kingdom. Number 2, with gratitude, I invoke the sacred keys of divine wisdom from the plant kingdom to assist me in my awakening journey. Okay, so look at that tree picture. Now, maybe you have a connection to an actual tree that you know, or maybe you feel drawn to some wooded areas. Imagine yourself in that wooded area or standing next to that tree that you have an affinity for. And just imagine that you're putting your hands on the tree, inviting those keys to be delivered to you, to open that gate of wisdom that's held and kept by the plant kingdom. Okay. Maybe it's not a tree, maybe it's a field of flowers, or maybe it's your garden. Whatever plant speaks to you, see yourself with that plant. Okay, and invoke those sacred keys. Number 3, with gratitude, I invoke the sacred keys of divine wisdom from the animal kingdom to assist me in my awakening journey. Okay, so I put a picture there that's very meaningful to me. I work with rescue horses. Some of you know, you've seen my horse videos and my horse pose, but I work with rescued horses, and they are very conscious beings, as are most animals. What I found is they're kind of leading the charge for our ascension process. They're supporting us. It's not every animal's job to oversee our awakening process, but our pets and domestic animals in particular are very helpful in this regard. Okay. Although you will sometimes feel attracted to wild animal energy. And it's really sufficient just to think about that animal or look at a picture of that animal and invite the divine keys to come from their collective consciousness. Okay, and let your intuition guide you. If you're feeling like you need to connect with the energy of Jaguar to get a specific key to connect with some divine wisdom, then picture a jaguar in your mind. Okay. But when all else fails, horses, dogs, and cats are very helpful in our awakening process. Okay, they oftentimes have keys to the wisdom that we need to connect with to satisfy our soul lessons. Number 4, with gratitude, I invoke the sacred keys of divine wisdom from my relationship records to assist me in my awakening journey. Okay, so look at that picture of the table. Oftentimes in our relationships, we share meals with people. Not always, but sometimes we do. And in that process, it gets us to open up to their wisdom. We're relaxed and we're open to receiving and to sharing information. Don't be mistaken in thinking that any relationship is an accident, because it's not. Every relationship, especially the most important relationships we have, are products of soul contracts. And there's always learning and growth that come from them. So even if you missed it when you were in the midst of a relationship, you can ask for it now. You can ask to review those relationship records and lift any keys from them, from past relationships. They don't even have to be in this lifetime. They may be from other lifetimes. Lift those keys and open the gates that connect you with the wisdom associated with these relationships. Okay, the wisdom that you would have been able to access and you are able to access through these relationships. Number 5, with gratitude, I invoke the sacred keys of divine blueprints that honor me now to assist me in my awakening journey. Okay, so I put a picture of the Sphinx there because what I have come to learn is that we can access the Akashic records with our consciousness through an opening, an energetic opening that sits at the foot of the Sphinx. Okay, maybe this is not meaningful to you and you don't have to access divine blueprints in that way. Maybe it's just visualizing something else. Maybe you feel connected to divine blueprints when you're standing out in your backyard at night looking at the stars. Okay, however you connect with these divine blueprints, however your intuition guides you to connect with the keys that come from these divine blueprints, access them that way. Okay, do it with intention and consciousness. Number 6, with gratitude, I invoke the sacred keys of divine wisdom from the universal law libraries to assist me in my awakening journey. So the image there of books. Now, when I connect with those universal law libraries, what I see are scrolls on shelves. Same when I visit my own Akashic records, I see scrolls, but maybe you see books, maybe you see scrolls, maybe you see videos. That's very personal. As long as your intent is trained on receiving keys that will connect you with the wisdom in the universal law libraries, keep you in alignment with your soul obligation and duty. Okay, lastly, number 7, with gratitude, I invoke the sacred keys of divine wisdom from within my spirit archives to assist me in my awakening journey. And I put a journal there because this is very personal. This is just between you and you. Okay, you're consulting with your inner master. You're acknowledging your inner master and then asking for keys to connect you with your wisdom, something that you already possess, maybe something that you weren't ready to look at just yet, but now you're ready, and ask for it. Okay, and spend some time with yourself. Spend some time looking inward and seeing what revelations come. Okay, what wisdom you're reconnected with. And then just to explain what this key is over here on the left, this is a symbol that I use in my work often. It's kind of one of my signature symbols for the Divine Purpose Alignment technique. That is a symbol I call the Christ consciousness symbol. And I've dropped it into a key because it represents the purest form of energy that you can connect with. Okay, so always when you're doing these exercises and these activations, you want to be connected with a stream of Christ consciousness energy. Okay, you want to be connected with the highest and best and most pure and the highest divine expression of energy that you come in contact with. Okay, so just take a moment to let that wisdom reintegrate, okay, to connect with it. So when the moment is right, it will move into your conscious mind and you become aware or more highly aware. All right, just take a moment. All right. So lastly, like I explained in the other 2 videos, I am not asking for a fee in exchange for these video activations, for the materials, or for the live activations once we start those with session 5. But if you feel compelled to donate in exchange for what you've received, if you feel that it's of value, you can use this QR code, or you can email me. There's my email, aimee@ihsunity.com. You can also use that email if you would like a copy of the PDF of the materials that I shared in the beginning of the video, or if you would like to purchase that laminate, the crystal laminate tool that I showed you an image of. You can reach me at that email or on social media. You can find me on social media. I think I'm the only Amy Moscow. Okay, well, thank you for being with me today. Look out for session 4. I'll be recording that shortly and posting it. And then once all of those videos are posted and you've had an opportunity to look at them, I will be starting the live sessions. And those live activations will be a little more intensive. And they really need to be live. I mean, these guided activations by video are good because you're using your own energy to activate yourself. but the live activations are a little different. So I encourage you to join me for those live sessions. All right. Well, thank you. I'll see you next time.